Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland Plain Dealer, covering the Browns for a long time. And Mary Kay, there must be a strategy here with the Cleveland Browns in this search, right?
Well, you know what? I know it looks from the outside like there isn't one at all, and I kind of get that. But I'm remembering back to the very early 1990s when there was a very sought after defensive coordinator that was getting ready to play in the Super Bowl. His name was Bill Belichick, and the Browns waited for him. And back then it just seemed like, that was a natural that you waited for guys like that. But now the trend has been you have to get your guy way before the Super Bowl so that you can assemble a staff and things like that. So the Browns, I think, are getting hammered. But in reality, I think one of the guys they really still like is Dan Quinn, who's preparing for the Super Bowl.
Is it a toxic franchise in the front office?
You know what? No, I don't think so. Again, I think that they're an easy target right now because they just fired their coach after 1 year. But I think what's happening there is the fact that, they're very big on analytics and numbers, and they did all the research. And in addition to not liking the way things were going, the numbers say that a guy coming back in his second year after going 4-12 generally isn't very successful, and they have all these numbers that support that sometimes you just need to cut your losses and make a change. And I think they identified early on some really good coaches that were going to be going deep into the playoffs, and they've stuck with that plan, even though they are admittedly just getting hammered from coast to coast.
Would they have let Rob Chudzinski go if they knew that this was going to be the landscape here? I mean, they may still get a guy. I don't know if you can say Dan Quinn, the Seahawks defensive coordinator, was the guy they wanted all along. They may tell us that, but was Rob Chudzinski that bad that they had to get rid of him after 1 year?
You know what, again, I think they put it all into, they plugged everything in. They plugged in all the numbers, all the information that they could come up with. And I think that they felt as though their chances mathematically and otherwise would be better if they made a change. Now, I think from everything that I've heard, they really went into this liking Adam Gase, the Denver Broncos offensive coordinator, and Josh McDaniels from the Patriots. From everything that I've heard, those two guys were way, way high on their list. And, Gates just decided he wants to stay in Denver for another year, be with Peyton Manning, and then come out next year probably when he'll be the hottest candidate next year. He'll have 3, 4, 5 opportunities. So that was a good business decision on his part. Josh McDaniels, not exactly sure what went down there, but he decided that he wanted to stay. The Browns told him he wasn't their front runner. So I don't think maybe Dan Quinn was necessarily their first choice, but I do think that that they can win the press conference with a guy like him.
But you have a defensive guy, and it is a good defensive team. But you're looking at perhaps with those high draft picks, do you draft a quarterback? So here we go again. Do you want an offensive-minded guy as your head coach, or a defensive-minded coach where the defense is already pretty good? The offense needs a little help, and you may need it if you go all in on a Johnny Manziel or another quarterback here.
Well, if you go with a defensive guy like that, you have got to come up with a really good offensive coordinator, especially for a first-time head coach. You've got to be really strong and solid. So I would go out and find the best, and maybe you bring in someone from college who can handle some of the trends that are going on in the NFL in terms of bringing the up tempo, the no huddle, and those kind of things into the game. So maybe they would do something like that, but that they are going to end up with a Johnny Manziel or one of the top quarterbacks with that number 4 pick or whatever it takes to get that guy, and they're going to need somebody that can handle it and be innovative. So yes, if they do end up with Quinn or Pettin or another defensive guy, they've got to go strong on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Mike Pettin, the Bills defensive coordinator, also on the short list there. Before I let you go, are they going to be all in on Johnny Manziel?
You know what? I would have to think so at this point. Yes, and will he be easy to come by? No, I think a lot of people will be vying for him with that number 1 spot. But the Browns have the ammunition to go up and get him, and if he's their guy, they will do whatever it takes.
Mary Kay, thank you. I know you got a busy offseason. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Mary Kay Cabot for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. She's been covering the Cleveland Browns a long time.